Week 1 is now in the books, and yes, Victory Monday has finally wore off. I wish I could say it's even like a hangover, but yeah, I've only been drunk once ever in my life. And if you guys want to hear that story, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd be happy to share it. If not, we'll talk about it later. But anyway, we're talking about Week 2 in the NFL season finally here. Once Week 1 is done, or each week, we kind of just limp through the week till one of these games is ready to go. But today we're talking about the Week 2 preview for the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Arizona Cardinals. Now, let's be real. This game, both these teams are winless coming into Week 2, but either one could really take this matchup. So I want to talk about the Cardinals first, because you take a look at this. It was rough. The Chiefs are a good team. Everybody knows it, especially the AFC West in this thing. It's going to be really tough this year. Patrick Mahomes, 5 touchdowns, basically did what he wanted in that game. Isaiah Pacheco also got some time as well. So this Cardinals defense, I think there are some holes that Derek Carr and company can exploit. But Kyler Murray finished 22 of 34 for 193 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. It seems like they fell behind early and often and were not able to really get after it. They did not pressure a guy like Patrick Mahomes once, which could bode well for the Raiders' offensive line. But also at the same time, you really are interested to see how the Cardinals will get after it in Week 2. So, I think especially with the Cardinals, it was a rough first game. I will admit that. I'll be the first to admit that. But I do think that there is so much talent on this team, and they don't have Nuke Hopkins right now. So I think once he comes back, he's definitely going to be a key piece to this team moving forward. But it was definitely a rough Week 1. Now that you go over to the Raiders, you were literally in position to win that game multiple times, despite the fact that Derek Carr threw multiple interceptions, went 22 of 37 for 295 yards with 2 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. So it just... The offensive line wasn't great. Josh Jacobs only had 10 carries. It wasn't a great day offensively. I mean, Devontae Adams was pretty much, and Darren Waller. Those guys were pretty much the only 2 bright spots on offense. And it was just, Devontae Adams, he's going to be a superstar. We already knew that. And I think he's going to be able to eat against the Cardinals as well. But overall, this defense they didn't get a sack either. So probably the number one thing you're probably going to look for is one or both of these teams getting their first sacks of the season. Chandler Jones had kind of a quiet day against Rashawn Slater and company, as well as Max Crosby still graded out very high, especially in the run game, but I'm really waiting to see both of these teams get after it in the pass game as well. I'm looking for both teams to really start and establish the run as well. Both teams, we already covered what happened with the Raiders, but a guy like Josh Jacobs only had 10 carries for 57 yards, and then you go over to the Cardinals. It was Kyler Murray that led the way, so I think both teams will look to establish the run game here and hopefully get something going in that regard. And if we're being honest, if you compare these two teams side by side, I think it is really kind of, I don't want to say it's definitely not one-sided. It's definitely not one-sided, but there is a lot to go off of when you look at both of these rosters, especially on an offense. Like, there's talent. There's a lot of talent, but overall, I do think that I would give the slight edge to the Raiders without Nuke Hopkins. Well, not even slight. Without Nuke Hopkins, it's not even close. But, you do give the edge to the Raiders in this situation. And, even if the Cardinals had Nuke Hopkins, I mean... Marquise Brown's, he's a number 2. Rondale Moore, it's a toss-up, but I would still give the slight edge to the Raiders there. I just feel like the Raiders, as far as offensive line, probably the Cardinals give them the edge there. But overall, running backs and stuff like that, even though James Conner is a stud, Josh Jacobs is that guy as well. So, and then defensively, the Raiders have 2 number 1 pass rushers in the league right now. They've got 2 number 1s. You really can't beat that. Denzel Perryman is a rock on the inside, as well as Jayon Brown. And then for the Cardinals, J.J. Watt's still a stud. I'm really excited to see what Zaven Collins becomes, I believe, in year 2, and then Isaiah Simmons is continually getting better. And this secondary for the Cardinals is a little underrated. Clearly, you would give them the edge over the Raiders. So there is so many matchups around both of these teams that you're going to be watching. But again, I'm looking for both offenses to really establish the run game and then also use the pass game. And for the Raiders, you have to have a spy on Kyler Murray every single play. He's just going to take off. He can be absolutely lethal in that regard. And as for the Cardinals, Cardinals, you want to slow down, obviously, Devontae Adams and see what you can do there and force them to run on you, which, I mean, they can do. The Raiders are a very good running football team, especially when they get it going. Look for Dylan Parham to start. I think that Andre James was pronounced out, but overall, you are looking at a very good matchup between these two teams, and I'm very excited. I think both these teams are going to get after it, and it's week 2, baby. It continues to get better and better. So, but that's our week 2 preview for the Las Vegas Raiders versus Arizona Cardinals. Make sure you guys like and subscribe down below. Leave a like and a comment. It helps people find the show. We greatly appreciate all the support that we've gotten and continue to get. You guys are all truthfully awesome. We love every single one of you. Down in the description below, you'll find all of our social media platforms. So give us a like and a follow there. Also, remember to give us a listen and sub on iTunes. And finally, if you have anything else you'd like us to cover, send us an email at thesportsbp@yahoo.com or put in the comment section down below, and we would love to cover it. But let us know what you guys think about our week dose preview for the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Arizona Cardinals.